Hi everyone, I'm Spencer Torres, and today I'm going to tell you guys about the climate in Ponta Delgada, which is the capital of the Azores, which is an autonomous region owned by Portugal, where my family's from, actually. Like, my grandparents. Anyways, so you're probably wondering, where even is it? It's the capital of the Azores, which is owned by Portugal. It's right in the middle of the Atlantic, as you can see. And its latitude and longitude is 37.7428 degrees north and 25.6806 degrees west. And it's interesting because even though it's a set of islands, you would think that they'd all be so close to sea level. However, it's really mountainous, so the average altitude is 2,497 feet. Here's a map of all the islands. You can see there's a ton of different ones. The city we're going to be talking about is Ponta Delgada, which is on the island of São Miguel, which is the most populated city and the capital. So my superlative is most likely to rain meatballs, because if anyone's seen the movie Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, you know that it takes place on an island that is located right under the A in Atlantic, and everyone always forgets about it because you don't think there's any islands in the Atlantic, but there are, and that's what we think of the Azores. It's like in the Atlantic, everyone kind of forgets about it, but it's there. So might rain meatballs someday, who knows? So let's get talking about the climate. It's actually a really nice place to live. It's very comfortable. It's really in the mid-50s all winter, and then it's in the mid-70s all summer. So it's like you never really have to worry about it being too hot or too cold. It feels, however, it does feel hotter in summer because it's really, really humid and tends to have relative humidity of 70 to 80%, which means that the air is almost full to its capacity of water. And as you can see, here's a graph of the temperatures, of the maximum and the minimum temperatures. You can see it's really quite comfortable. Except one negative is that it rains almost every single day, as you can see, up to like 25 days a month in November, December, and January, and it rains 188 days out of the year, which is a bit of a bummer, except for me, I really love rain, so I love this place. And fun fact for any swimmers out there, best time to swim is in August when the water temperature is 75 degrees. Something that's really misleading about the Azores is the fact that it's in a high pressure system. It's called the Azores High, which is like a very large high pressure system in the Atlantic. So you would think that it would be very clear and not rain at all because if the pressure's high, clear sky. However, this is inaccurate because it's like there's so much ocean around it, and since the ocean takes basically it gets so much rain because it is just surrounded by ocean. So it would just, despite the fact that it should be high pressure and clear, it's just not clear. So don't be surprised if it's raining. Let's just talk about some of the sunset and sunrise times. So for the spring equinox, it rises at 7:28, sets at 7:42. On the summer solstice, rises 6:21, sets at 9:07. And on the fall equinox, rises at 7:30, sets at 7:39, and in the summer on the winter solstice, rises at 7:54 and sets at 5:27. Just for some architecture on the island, windows should face the south because if you could see from these diagrams, I'm sorry I didn't really explain that well, the sun rises, it's noon about facing the ocean, and so that makes it really pretty to view the ocean, maybe catch a sunset towards the winter months. The temperature's really comfortable, so you wouldn't have to worry about getting blasted by the sun because it wouldn't make it too hot because it's never really that hot. But you should prepare for heavy rainfall. You shouldn't really have any houses that aren't ready for the heavy rainfall. It's going to rain a lot. Geography, if you're visiting, you'd want to visit the beautiful beaches. They have really nice waters. There's some really nice hiking trails throughout the mountains, and there's also a lot of fishing. My family, we like to fish because that's what the Portuguese did. There's also not a lot, but some disasters just because of the way the mountainous region interacts with the amount of rain we get. There's some floods because it rains so much. There's some landslides because it's so mountainous and it also rains a lot, which can cause pretty devastating landslides. But there's been a few earthquakes. You don't really hear about these because it's not a high population, so they don't really hurt too many people, but they still happen. Finally, for you environmental folks that want to help out the environment, the Azores is a really good option for people that want to use renewable energy because one of the first 100% renewable energy grids in the world was created on the island of Graciosa. It uses a mix of wind and solar power, because it's like the solar power for when it's sunny, and then when it's not sunny, it's probably going to be windy. So generally, they're 100% renewable. They have a backup of fossil fuels, but I don't think they've used it yet. And it's also a good location for a wave farm, because they have so much shore that they could really take control of the powerful tides that they get and use that for energy. So this is Spencer Torres. Thank you for listening.